Go. My man, Josh, how are you?
Hey, Chris. Good to be chatting with you as usual.
I love the fact that you, in the background of your video, in your background, you have a champion hat of the world champion Toronto Raptors.
Yeah, can't
I
forget.
I have mine on because my hair is crazy today.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
No, yep.
but it's just what it is, right? There's no barbers, nothing else. I'm happy
No
that I've
barbers.
grown dreads out, so
Yeah,
it
looks
works a
good.
little bit. But I had to make sure that until the NBA season starts, the champions still remain as champions.
Yep.
And you are in Ajax, Ontario. I'm here in my kitchen in Oshawa, and this is another edition of Masters Check-in, where we stop by via video, via Zoom, with staff and faculty members of our school to kind of just check in with how they're doing. If you're watching this at the time of this video, we're all on social isolation. We're not on lockdown in our homes, but we've been asked to stay in our homes and to work from our homes. Many of us have, and our school, we've made that transition that way as well, and we've had to go from being on campus, which is where we were at this time about 2 weeks ago, to having to shift to be online. And this past week, we had our first full week of online classes. And Josh is the director of our Worship and Creative Arts major for our Bachelor of Theology program, our 4-year program. He's also the host of a YouTube channel show called Theology Breakdown, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. But the first question I want to ask you, Josh, is as a faculty member, as a director of a major, you have interaction with students all the time. You're interacting with other faculty members all the time. There's a lot that you're doing, and you're one of the first people to have the change to go from on campus and the number of classes that you teach on campus to being online
Yep.
in a short span of time. There wasn't a lot of leeway for it, and obviously we're all experiencing that. Can you walk me through sort of the mental transition of for you from being on campus to shifting online in literally maybe just 7 days time?
Yeah. Yeah, well, just like with everyone else, everything happens so quickly. Changes were happening by the hour, and so eventually we got to that moment where, like, okay, we're going to be teaching online, and so it was a big change, of course. I think we as staff and even students, in some ways, we kind of used to once in a while, doing video conferencing, talking online. That's part of the culture of our day. But definitely teaching online, like that is a whole new ball to play there. And so I had to figure things out really quickly, to be honest. And so, one of my values as a professor is really, encouraging a community of learning. That for
Mhm.
me is important. Like, I'm not someone who's just going to download information as some sort of Google guru. You know what I'm saying? And, just sit and listen. No, I really love to hear the voices of our students and to really encourage their voices to come out. And so, now all of a sudden I don't see them in person.
Yeah.
I see my video myself. I can project my PowerPoint up there. And so now I have to figure out ways like, how do I encourage this community of learning? Because, hey, I learned from our students as well. And
Yeah.
I believe they learn from one another. And so, trying to figure out ways that they can participate and contribute to what's happening is something that I've really had to learn. Basically every class that I've done this past week, oh, I learned this, I got to do this, so I got to change that. And so, once in a while, I've tried to, ask questions and invite students to unmute themselves or show their video. What we've done, we're using GoToMeeting software, and once in one of my classes we have over 30 students, so I got them to split up into 7 small groups, and we assigned them into these Jitsi Meet groups where they go
Cool.
into online video groups of about 5 or 6 people, and for 10-15 minutes they discuss a few questions that I've raised that relates to our lesson. And so those are some ways, I've tried to figure out ways to kind of encourage that community of learning, and really ensuring that students are engaged. And I still haven't figured it all out. I'm still learning, and I know there's a lot to learn. So yeah, still growing, man.
And in light of that, you talked a lot about our students, and our lifeblood is our students. They are the reason why we get up in the morning,
Hmm.
apart from the Lord. Like they are the reason why we train and we do the work that we do, is to be able to see them do far exceedingly exceed far more than what we've done in our own lives, our own careers, our own callings, that sort of thing. And this shift has been a lot for them,
Yeah.
right? If it's one thing for us to go from working in an office to working from home, these are students who, they've lived on campus. Their friendships. They're in, small groups on campus. They are doing community life, like all this sort of stuff. And then suddenly, within a couple of days, their parents are coming to pick them up. They're in cars, and their classroom becomes their bedrooms or their kitchens. But they're really, really, really progressing well, and they're
Hmm.
taking this in stride. Talk to me about what you've learned about our students in the midst of this transition time.
Yeah. Well, I know it hasn't been easy for all of us. It's almost getting knocked down, and you wake up and like, whoa, like what just happened? And you just got to get used to it. And I think with our students, what I think we all realize is that they're ahead of the game when it comes to knowing how to navigate through online software and video conferencing. Like they're used to that. That's part of their culture. For some people, all they've known is the internet. Me and you knew when we just started to get emails, right?
Let's
The
go.
first time we got
True.
an email,
Yeah,
right?
it's a big
But
thing.
our students grew up with that, and so they're kind of used to that type of culture of using video and to communicate. Obviously, the biggest difference is, learning. Uh, Classrooms through video, like that is obviously the big difference. And so what I'm learning is, well, is that they are a very supportive and gracious group that I've had the privilege of working with. I remember our just last class this week. you know Normally I like to start my classes off in prayer, and as I'm beginning my class through video, I'm like, hey, does anyone have any prayer requests, any praise reports? And so people are sharing their prayer requests and things that we can pray together about. And one student's like, hey, we need to pray for our profs. All you profs are also learning new ways of doing this and to figure things out, so we need God to help you all. And that really touched me,
Mm,
that it's not just about themselves, they're really thinking about everyone. So I just really see that they're what I've seen is that they've been really supportive and gracious, because you definitely need grace
yeah.
when you're learning new things. And I really see that in them, and I'm grateful for that. It hasn't been easy, and in light of that, they've been gracious, supportive, and adaptive. I've seen that, and so we're growing together.